I know as a woman sitting here with you as well, you're very vocal on a lot of things that are happening in the industry right now. Where do you stand with everything, and are you seeing change and progress?
For every news story that comes out where another abuser is being named, there is this understandable shock and horror from people, especially when you hear about them from Charlie Rose or Matt Lauer, and people are horrified, and it feels like it's a really sad time in the world right now. But for the people who have had to put up with it for a very long time, I can say from my own personal experience, it's actually an amazing time right now. Because for some reason, we don't have to put up with it anymore. And our voices and our pain matter. That's the first step of change, but we have to be vigilant, and we have to continue to see it through. And it's really important to name names, and it's really important to support the people who come out and speak up. Because one thing that people don't understand is how difficult it is to go to the press and tell a story, because it's not just saying, oh, I'm going to call up the New York Times, the LA Times, and give them my story. You have to have multiple witnesses. You have to have told multiple people. You have to have evidence that corroborates, like, the fact that you were at this place at this time, maybe 10 years ago. It's not that simple.
It's not as simple as people,
anytime you read a story in the press or you hear about it, and then you hear the man say, oh, well, that's not what it was, or they're lying, or they were just jealous, just know that in order for it to even be on your TVs or in your computers or in your newspapers, a lot of measurements had to be taken place. Right now, it's really important to believe the victims, because for so long, we've been in this world where victims of sexual abuse are just inherently not believed. And it's just not true. I mean, to go through that, to experience that, it's just not a choice that anybody would make, and it's not an easy path. And I'm just really proud of everyone who has come forward, and I know from my own personal experience how difficult it is and how many obstacles you have to run through just to get that out there. But now we got to see it through, and want to make sure that people aren't just getting slaps on the wrist. Brett Ratner still has a huge financing deal at Warner Brothers that goes through March of 2018. So they took him off of the movie The Goldfinch. They took him off of certain movies, his name, but his financing company, Rat Pack Dune, is still a $450 million deal with Warner Brothers, and so they'll still be making money off of people. Like Lego Ninjago movie that I did, I was very proud to be in. I didn't know until my publicist told me afterwards that Brett Ratner was a producer on it. And I had no idea, but that's because at Warner Brothers he has a big deal. And I have, in my life, gone through very strategic, conscientious choices to not work with Brett Ratner. Yet, all of a sudden, here he is making money off of a movie that I did.
That you didn't
so,
even know.
I think it's really important for us to not just to name names, and for everybody to have this huge outrage, which they should, but we have to see it through, and we have to make sure that the people at the top are not just waiting for the public to quiet down, because there's a lot of people who are colluding to keep these people in power. And
because they're all involved in stuff.
Because everybody's, it doesn't behoove them to get rid of that guy, because it fills their pockets. So we have to make a hard line and keep going, and it's like, thank God that the public has been so outraged, and for every single person that speaks up and has our back and voices their support of us, it means so much. And I hope that we continue that public outrage, because it will create a wave of shame that crashes down on them so hard that they will have to make huge changes.